Namaskar and good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor and pleasure for me to be welcoming you to the 61st ACMA annual session. Indeed, a very big milestone for all of us in the automotive industry. I'm glad that we have over 2,500 viewers logged in right now across all platforms. We are also live on the ACMA website and YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, the auto component industry in the last over 6 decades has stood the test of time, and today is not only one of the key drivers of the Indian economy, but also a shining example of Make in India and an Atma industry. The year gone by has been one of the most challenging in the history of mankind. Despite the severe disruptive challenging confronting us, it is our resolve to come back stronger, and therefore we have themed our annual session this year as Living with Volatility, Survival, Revival and Growth. Ladies and gentlemen, your ACMA has adapted well to the new normal, and let me present to you a short film on our achievements in the year gone by. Can I have the ACMA film, please?
With the pandemic striking country after country, the world is witnessing one of the most challenging humanitarian and economic crises ever. Amidst lockdowns and severe supply chain disruptions, the Indian auto component industry displayed remarkable resilience. Through its concerted and cohesive efforts on the front of ensuring business continuity and community service, the industry has created a strong goodwill for itself. The industry body continued to further the industry's agenda on the ethos of RISES, a responsive, inclusive, communicating, engaging, stable and sustainable industry. In spite of grave challenges, ACMA members not only responded well to the needs of our customers, the OEMs, but also generously undertook relief measures, setting up hospitals and oxygen camps, donating ventilators and concentrators, and contributing liberally towards community service. Significant efforts were made to position ACMA as an institution that not only champions the cause of the traditional auto component industry, but is also leading the dialogue on future of mobility. In line with this, ACMA membership was thrown open to new age mobility players and startups. A conscious effort was made for rich and extensive consultations amongst all stakeholders, external or internal, positioning ACMA as a strong and credible voice of the industry. Content-rich dialogues and meaningful activities kept our members engaged throughout the year. The institution transformed itself to deliver its entire gamut of services digitally and delivered activities in excess of 650, the highest ever in a year. As we navigate these turbulent times, ACMA endeavors to ensure survival, revival and growth of its members to stay ahead of the curve amidst a volatile course. ACMA has played a pivotal role in supporting our membership across the highly complex yet integrated value chain to overcome the present challenges and emerge stronger, catering to the demands of an industry in transition. In the backdrop of 2 successive years of degrowth of 14% each in vehicle production in India, the auto component industry posted a decline of 3% over the previous year, registering a turnover of USD 45.9 billion. Auto component sales to OEMs in the domestic market stood at USD 37.7 billion, registering a 3% decline. Exports and imports stood at USD 13.3 billion and USD 13.8 billion, declining by 8% and 11% respectively. This has led to reduction in trade balance to USD 500 million, the lowest ever. The aftermarket also declined by 7% to USD 8.7 billion. Despite all odds, ACMA has succeeded in rapid digitization of its entire operations. In a year where scope of physical meetings was almost none, we continued our activities with great poise. Continuing with its efforts to create global footprint, ACMA organized several virtual meets and expos to further its agenda. On the home front, ACMA successfully organized ACMA Auto Mechanica New Delhi. The virtual edition witnessed 82 exhibitors on board, showcasing 1,233 products. The show attracted 2,376 active attendees through its B2B matchmaking platform. The 5th edition of the iAuto Connect 2020 had over 65 Indian component manufacturers displaying their products virtually, while over 300 international aftermarket distributors and business delegates visited and had fruitful engagements. ACMA continues to engage with government, from central and state ministries to local agencies, as it strives for creating an enabling environment for the industry. ACMA welcomes the support extended by the government's redefinition of MSME, a long-pending recommendation. Further, interest waiver and moratorium on loan repayment for MSMEs have helped our smaller members to overcome pandemic-induced challenges. ACMA is also grateful to the government for the recent announcement of the scrappage policy, the production-linked incentive scheme for battery ACC, and the remission of duties and taxes on export products, or the RODTEP scheme, amongst others. The details of the Auto PLI scheme are now eagerly awaited. Several state governments have incorporated ACMA's inputs in their policies for e-mobility. Localization of e-mobility solutions will throw open yet another opportunity for ACMA members. On the front of knowledge engagements, ACMA continued to work with renowned consultants as its knowledge partners. Several studies and reports on pertinent subjects were published through the year. Key studies include Shaping the New Normal, ACMA McKinsey Study, India's Automotive Component Industry, Post-COVID-19 Outlook, ACMA PwC Study, Localization Roadmap for Indian Automotive Sector, a joint ACMA Siam EY Study. ACMA continued to support its members on the front of upgrading shop floors and skills through 32 different kinds of programs. 176 plants benefited from 29 cluster programs, while the ACMA Center of Excellence conducted 82 short duration, 3 medium duration and 1 long duration virtual programs focused on Industry 4.0 and digitization, new product design and development, amongst others. It is with great pride that we mention that IIT Palakkad has launched a course on lean concepts in manufacturing, designed and developed by ACMA counselors. That apart, the ACMA Sinade Dual Education Program for Skill Development, Staff Development Program for Middle Management and Industry 4.0 Program, together with AIC of Spain, was some of the new initiatives this year. The ACMA Center of Excellence also created a Capability Maturity Model for Supply Chain Capability Enhancement. The program offers assessment and upgradation of supply chain to OEMs and Tier 1s. The 6th edition of ACMA Technology Summit and Awards, themed towards Atmanirbhar Bharat, Technologies for Sustaining Growth, received 305, the highest ever applications, of which 76 were honored and felicitated for excellence in categories including manufacturing, new product development, exports, human resource development, and health, safety and environment. ACMA continued its efforts to facilitate strategic partnerships in the industry. The first virtually held ACMA Auto Technology Partnership Summit and Expo celebrated Indian auto component industries' business partnerships with North America, Japan, and the European Union. 45 ACMA members exhibited their state-of-the-art products and technologies, while over 450 international delegates from 37 countries visited and participated in the event. Other notable virtual events included India-Taiwan Matchmaking Expo, India-Vietnam Cooperation Meet, India-Korea Partnership Meet. To further the cause of the industry and ACMA image, significant efforts were made for ACMA's presence across various media platforms. Several interviews of ACMA leadership, along with articles in leading national dailies, electronic channels and trade magazines were published to put forth the industry's viewpoint to the relevant stakeholders. That apart, social media was used effectively to redouble and reinforce ACMA's media efforts. Future Ready Initiative. ACMA's Future Ready initiatives are a step in the direction to address the needs of an industry in transition and create an auto component industry that is ready to take on the challenges of future. The activities of ACMA's Center of Excellence remained unabated despite the challenges. In fact, during the period, it delivered more than 100 technical trainings with support of national and international experts on diverse subjects on new age manufacturing technologies, digitization, new product development, amongst others. The YBLF Forum continued its programs with aplomb to hone young business leaders under the able guidance of industry veterans. In an environment confronted with volatility and disruptions, ACMA is confident that together we'll rise to the challenges of today and tomorrow and emerge stronger than ever before. ACMA, your navigator in volatility. Let's revive, survive, and grow together.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, our next session is indeed, our inaugural session is indeed a star-studded one. We are delighted that today we have none other than Mr. Amitabh Khan, the CEO of Niti Aayog. Mr. T.V. Narendran, President CII, MD and CEO Tata Steel, Mr. Kenichi Ayukawa, the President of Siam, MD and CEO of Maruti Suzuki, Mr. S.S. Kim, the MD and CEO of Hyundai Motor India, and our very own Mr. Deepak Jain, President ACMA and Chairperson and MD Lumax Industry, Mr. Sanjay Kapoor, Vice President ACMA and Chairperson of Sona Comstar. Ladies and gentlemen, whilst the year gone by was indeed very tough, our President has led us from the front and indeed very well. He's done us immense proud. I now have the pleasure of inviting Mr. Deepak Jain for his welcome address. Mr. Deepak Jain, and once again, a welcome to all our dignitaries. Thank you.
Thank you, Vinny. Namaste, and a very good morning to all of you. It is my profound privilege to welcome you to the 61st annual session of ACMA. This event is happening in the backdrop of a recovery from one of the most challenging humanitarian crises. Therefore, at the outset, I pray for the well-being, safety, and good health of all. I commence my address by expressing my sincere gratitude to our esteemed customers who have always supported and guided us well throughout our journey, and especially in these very challenging times to ensure our business continuity. Ayukawa-san, heartiest congratulations to you on successfully completing the first year of your term as the President of Siam. You have undoubtedly led the entire industry well from the front despite many adversities and done us proud. And now as you embark on the second year of your presidential term, I wish you great success and an eventful year ahead. To CII for taking ACMA as a partner and working tirelessly for the cause of the industry with the government. Naren, your leadership has been truly exemplary, and I'm indeed very grateful to you for giving our industry the due recognition in various CII platforms and committees. We are completely aligned with the CII theme for 21-22 of building India for a new world, competitiveness, growth, sustainability, technology, which are also an important pillars for the Indian auto component sector. Mr. Amitabh Khan has been true friend of an industry. I'm thankful for him to recognize the potential of the auto component sector and encouraging us to export and transform. We are also thankful for him for being the catalyst for a paradigm shift in mobility and championing the cause of clean energy in India. A special welcome to Mr. S.S. Kim. Heartiest congratulations to you, sir, for completing 25 years in India. We are indeed very fortunate that the leadership of Hyundai will be addressing our annual session for the first time ever. We eagerly look forward to your address and message to the industry. Ladies and gentlemen, I look back at the 2 years gone by with immense sense of satisfaction and pride. When I assumed the office of President ACMA in September 2019, I was given the responsibility to create an inclusive ACMA with greater participation of all stakeholders, ensure a strong leadership pipeline, and last but not the least, create a future-ready association. As you've all witnessed, the 2 lockdowns in the wake of the pandemic threatened to derail not just our economy and industry, but also challenged our very own existence. In fact, we lost several eminent leaders, employees, and members of our families. I pray for eternal peace for those who we have lost, and my sincere condolences to the bereaved families. In this environment of volatility, despite disruption of production and supply chain, and the industry displayed resilience and evolved in the spirit of collaboration. The period was marked with heightened interactions between the component manufacturers and our customers, and the spirit of mutual cooperation to collectively deal with the industry-wide challenges. I must also appreciate the support extended to us by the Government of India for interest waiver and loan payment deferment programs of our MSMEs, a significant proportion of our membership, which has really helped them to overcome some of the immediate challenges. We are also thankful to the government for recent announcement of the PLI for advanced chemistry cell battery storage, which is a first step towards setting up an ecosystem for sustaining electric mobility in India. It is noteworthy that despite challenges, many ACMA members undertook relief measures by setting up hospitals and oxygen camps, donating ventilators and concentrators, and contributing generously towards community service. I'm grateful to our members for these kind gestures. Focusing on the performance of the industry, 2021 witnessed the second consecutive year of contraction in vehicle sales in India as overall vehicle sales fell by 13.6%. In this backdrop, the component industry also witnessed a degrowth of 3%, with its turnover reducing to 46 billion from 49 billion US dollars. As we embark on another year, we need to reflect on some of the intrinsic challenges that we have been facing now for almost a decade. Mr. R.C. Bhargav yesterday at the Siam annual session very rightly expressed the grave concern on the falling growth rate of vehicle consumption in the country. That apart, high domestic taxation, increasing fuel cost, steep rise in commodity prices, among others, is adversely impacting affordability of vehicles and in turn the viability of the component sector. A long-term, stable and technology-agnostic roadmap that allows sufficient time for localization of technologies would be critical for survival and competitiveness of our industry. Given the volatility in the environment, as we strive to survive, piece ourselves together to revive, and explore the opportunities for growth all at the same time, I am sure that there are many questions that you have seeking answers to. If volatility is the new normal, then how can we sustain ourselves, ensure our business continuity, and stay relevant to our customers? With uncertainty in business and regulatory environment, combined with fast-changing trends in mobility, what would be the most apt business model for us? Will one size fit all? What strategic interventions we need to make, internal and external, technological and human, as individuals and as a community to become globally competitive? To answer these and find a method in this madness, we have themed our annual session Living with Volatility, Survival, Revival, and Growth. I proudly welcome the distinguished leaders from all spheres of our ecosystems who will share their insights today, and especially on how to be future ready. Given the dynamism, the focus for the auto component industry in India is now to look inwards and transform itself, in line with our Honorable Prime Minister's vision of an Atma Bharat, and become truly a net exporter. The recent ACMA Siam joint study has identified an opportunity for localization of the components to the tune of rupees 25 to 30,000 crores in the next 5 years. We also now eagerly await the details of the PLI scheme for the auto and auto component industry to make the sector globally price competitive. While times have been difficult, this is a critical phase in the journey of ACMA that calls for integrating all stakeholders and paving the road for members to compete and grow in an environment witnessing rapid changes. With induction of several dynamic young leaders in the executive committee and giving them appropriate leadership roles, ACMA now has a strong leadership bench to lead the industry into a bright future. Further, ACMA's organization structure has been reinforced to strengthen linkages with startups and to focus on next generation mobility, thus creating the foundation for a future-ready ACMA. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been truly a year of resilience, and I thank all my peers who have given me the courage and strength to continue on this journey and make ACMA a more responsible, responsive, inclusive, and a communicative and engaged association with all its stakeholders. I'm confident that we will witness stable and sustained growth despite the challenges. As I close, I sincerely acknowledge the support of the governments at the center and the states who have been extremely receptive to ACMA's suggestions and inputs. I would also like to thank all our members for their unwavering support. To Sanjay, our Vice President, and all the Executive Committee colleagues, a big thank you for standing by me. I particularly thank all our past presidents for the guidance and direction, and I also applaud the efforts and support provided by the ACMA Secretariat, without which I could not have delivered the agenda during my tenure. I'm confident that as an industry, we will not only overcome the disruptive challenges facing us, but will also continue to create a new paradigm of excellence as we redefine ourselves to survive, revive, and grow. Let's build together not only an Atmanirbhar automotive industry, but also the industry of our dreams. Thank you, and Jai Hind.
Thank you. Thank you, Deepak, for that very warm welcome and also for sharing your perspective with us. Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker is Mr. Kenichi Ayukawa, the President of Siam and the MD and CEO of Maruti Suzuki. Ayukawa-san, as the President of Siam, you have redoubled the collective efforts of the vehicle industry to ensure a robust supplies ecosystem. Indeed, a very daunting task in this disruptive environment. The entire ACMA fraternity joins me in thanking you and in complimenting you for your leadership. Sir, may I call on you for your address, please? Ayukawa-san. Ayukawa-san, you're on mute. Can you unmute yourself, please?
Sorry. CEO, retired Mr. Amitabh Khan, he may join us soon. President CII, Mr. TV Narendran, MD and CEO, Hyundai Motor India, Mr. SS Kim, President Atma, Mr. Deepak Jain, Vice President Atma, Mr. Sanjay Kapoor, leaders of the auto component industry, and distinguished guests. Namaskar. Thank you for inviting me to the annual convention of the auto component industry today on behalf of the Siam. I understand that Honorable Minister of Heavy Industry, Dr. Mahendra Nath Pandey, will join the convention later during the day. I am happy to once again have the opportunity to listen to Mr. Amitabh Khan. Mr. Amitabh Khan has always been a pillar of support for our MSME and the auto component industry. During the last 2 days, we were encouraged by his visionary thought for the automobile industry and our dealer partners. We keenly look forward to hearing his dynamic thought and innovative ideas for the sector. Ladies and gentlemen, last few months have been extremely challenging for all of us. Facing these challenges, component manufacturing industry has taken bold steps to reduce the impact of the pandemic. The industry extended full support to boost the manufacturing capacity of PSA-based oxygen generation plant in the country. With your support, we were able to help several hospitals to become self-reliant for oxygen. This has helped to remove the uncertainties of logistics for medical oxygen supply to hospitals. Without support, the auto component industry also came forward and closed their factory to conserve oxygen and divert it for medical use. These life-saving steps by the industry are really commendable. Please accept my compliment. In the long run, this will strengthen the medical infrastructure and make us better prepared for future medical challenges. Alongside, to counter the COVID-19 challenge, you took dedicated effort to focus on health and safety of your employees and their families. Your effort helped enforce the government's COVID-19 vaccination drive for the safety of employees and their families in a focused month. Ladies and gentlemen, the challenge of COVID-19 continues globally. Different regions are being impacted at different times. The global supply chain is already very complex. Such disruption and uncertainty further add to the challenge. Hence, our preparation has to keep pace with the growing challenges. The global semiconductor supply chain has become increasingly at risk due to several factors. It has impacted our industry since last year and continues to be a big challenge. Ladies and gentlemen, while semiconductor shortage appears to be a challenge, it almost brings in an opportunity. Alongside automobiles, the demand for technology-based equipment has increased manifold. Of course, semiconductor manufacturing requirement requires very huge investment. India automobile industry alone cannot assure full viability of such an investment in semiconductor projects. Hence, there is a need for consolidation across sectors. Rising to this critical challenge, government is taking few long-term measures. The invitation by the government for expression of interest for manufacturing semiconductors in India is a much needed long-term step in the right direction. I'm sure global investors will take advantage of this opportunity in India. In the meantime, our partners from component industry have to tackle the current challenges of semiconductor shortage by deeply engaging with the chip suppliers. Ladies and gentlemen, aligned with the government, Siam and Atma have jointly developed a localization roadmap for the automobile industry. This roadmap details key components across segments and corresponding opportunity for localization. I look forward to the support of each industry member in this initiative to make India Atmanirbhar. Of course, such initiative can succeed only with full support from the government. We will jointly approach the government to seek support for this roadmap. All across the world, there is a huge focus on reducing carbon emissions. As a responsible industry, it is our duty to move as close as possible to carbon net zero with local manufacturing. For this, we have to develop multiple alternate powertrain technologies. I'm thankful to the support and encouragement from different government ministries on multiple technology solutions, including e-mobility, CNG, LNG, biogas, and ethanol. I would urge the auto component industry to enhance your focus, investment, R&D on all such powertrain technology. I'm sure only the combination of all these technologies will help us bring closer to carbon net zero. Mr. Amitabh Khan, many of these technologies are new for the industry and have their own challenges of viability and infrastructure. While our talented engineers work on these solutions, we would keep coming back to the government for guidance and support. Ladies and gentlemen, before I conclude my address, I'd like to congratulate Mr. Deepak Jain for successfully completing your 2-year term as Atma President. It has been a team full of challenges for the entire auto sector. I am happy that Atma and Siam collaborated on several projects to strengthen the sector. I appreciate the support extended by auto component industry under your vibrant leadership. Together we could: 1. Support the nation in the fight against COVID, PSA-based oxygen generation plant, masks and PPE kit, ventilators, scaling up capacity of oxygen plant manufacturer, shift ramp up of manufacturing after lockdown, vaccination of your team member and their family. 2. Preparing comprehensive localization roadmap for the industry. 3. Smooth transition to BS6. I also welcome President-designate Mr. Sanjay Kapoor to take over the leadership of Atma. Siam look forward to continue the collaboration with Atma for the future project. Thank you. With this, I would like to close. My best wishes to Atma for this annual event. Namaskar.
Thank you, Ayukawa-san, for acknowledging the support of the auto component industry and highlighting some of the challenges that we are confronting, especially on chip manufacturing. And of course, the auto component industry takes your message very seriously. Indeed, we'll engage in more vaccination, localization efforts, and smoother transition to BS6. So thank you so much for being with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, the Confederation of Indian Industries, the CII, continues to play an exemplary role not only in championing the cause of the Indian industry to ensure a conducive manufacturing and investment climate in the country, but has also become a beacon of hope for millions of people of this country due to its outstanding efforts in relief measures during the pandemic, including a nationwide vaccination campaign. I have immense pleasure in inviting Mr. T.V. Narendran, President, CII, and MD and CEO of Tata Steel, to share his perspective on dealing with these volatile times and yet staying on top. Mr. Narendran, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Vinny. Mr. Amitabh Khan, CEO, Niti Aayog, Mr. Deepak Jain, President, ACMA and CMD, Lumax Industries, Mr. Kenichi Ayukawa, President, Siam and MD and CEO, Maruti Suzuki, Mr. S.S. Kim, MD and CEO, Hyundai Motor Company, Mr. Sanjay Kapoor, Vice President, ACMA and Chairman, Sona Comstar, Mr. Vinny Mehta, all distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, it's my pleasure to join the ACMA 61st annual session today, and I felicitate you on a long and successful journey that you have accomplished. I congratulate Deepak on navigating the challenges of COVID and helping the industry emerge as a stronger sector that continues to contribute greatly to the Indian economy. ACMA has played a very significant role for the growth of the Indian industry, including the MSME sector, and I think it's an outstanding example of excellence in Indian industry. The Indian auto component industry has made enormous strides within India as well as globally. CII is indeed proud to have been associated with ACMA over the years, and CII has valued the partnership with ACMA, and that has only grown from strength to strength over the decades. The auto components industry, like all sectors, has faced an unprecedented turmoil in the last 2 years, and there have been opportunities as well in the current scenario. In the recent past, the realignment of global trade dynamics has prompted many multinational companies to move to India and look at India as a source. So India is potentially not just a destination, but also a source for investments. It's heartening to note that the sector has grown at around 20% per annum in the past, making it one of the fastest growing sectors in the Indian industry. I must mention that we are proud of the sector's many achievements. The quality of our products is now at par with global standards, and our ability to create, engineer, and develop world-class products completely in India has become much better now. Today, almost every major car maker in the world has an engineering center in India, along with complete product development capability, giving India a unique competitive edge. As the economy bounces back with the pent-up demand, the forthcoming festive season, and stabilization in incomes and job creation, there is a clear hope that it will impact the entire auto ecosystem positively. In this context, a voluntary scrapping policy announced by the government recently can help take older vehicles off the roads, contributing to lower fuel consumption and pollution, as well as creating demand for vehicles. It will obviously not only create demand, but we will have more cleaner vehicles on the road, and this is also a great opportunity for all of us. The government has also set its sights on making India more environment friendly and slowly phase out petrol and diesel-based vehicles. And India's EV market is expected to be about 7 billion opportunity by 2025, with two-wheelers and three-wheelers expected to drive higher electrification of vehicles. The very nature of the industry has also transformed during this period, and technology-centric features, safety, comfort, emissions, and energy consumption all have taken center stage in recent times. The Indian automotive industry Atmanirbhar Bharat, and it is important for all of us to develop scale and carry forward this inclusive journey. And I would like to mention a few thoughts for the future. One, as the localization efforts grow and the supply chain shift, India must emphasize targeted export expansion for key components and expand its share in the global auto component trade to at least 4 to 5% by 2026. Two, with the growing adoption of electric mobility, semiconductors, as Ayukawa-san also said, is going to become more and more critical. And it's important for us as an ecosystem, as a country, as an industry, collectively or individually, to invest in creating these capabilities in India. And this is going to take time. It is going to take support from the government. It is very capital intensive and it is a cyclical business. Three, the challenge of delayed payments to SMEs continues to exist. Much more needs to be done. CI is constantly engaging with the government on the subject, including more recently with the finance minister a couple of days back. So I think this is a subject which does rank very high in CI's list when we interact with the government, and the government has also promised to continue to work on improving this. And I do believe that, and I do think that some improvements have happened. For aspects like carbon pricing and COP26 will have a significant impact on manufacturing in India. We know that EU has already proposed a carbon border adjustment mechanism. So it's not just about what are the policy changes in India, but the policy changes across the world has an impact on Indian manufacturers and exporters. So, and it's not something which impacts just the large companies. I think it impacts all companies in a value chain which is connected with carbon. Five, the MSME share of value addition to a car is well over a third, attesting to the central role of smaller enterprises. And the automotive aftermarket provides economic opportunities to 25 to 30,000 MSMEs engaged in the auto value chain, and thus they require a special focus as well. We are working to address these issues. There are issues in finance, skill development, and digital literacy, as well as in the area of sustainability. And CI has launched a slew of initiatives in this regard and hopes to make a positive impact. May I conclude once again by complimenting ACMA for the seminal role that it has played. I compliment Deepak for a truly extraordinary and memorable year under his leadership, which sets the path for the future growth of the sector. The industry is certainly a successful case study for Atmanirbhar Bharat. I'd also like to welcome Sanjay into his new role. We would continue to support and engage closely with ACMA and work together with the government for the faster recovery as well as growth of the auto component industry. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Naren, thank you so much. I have well noted all the points that you made, especially on localization, on developing an EV ecosystem, addressing issues on delays in payments to SMEs, reducing the carbon footprint with the international changes for border taxation on carbon, and also encouraging the MSMEs for more value addition. I would like to assure you that ACMA is working on all of these issues, and of course I look forward to CI's support in ensuring that these are resolved and addressed. I see Mr. Amitabh Khan has also logged in at this point in time. So Mr. Amitabh Khan, very hearty welcome from the ACMA fraternity to you. Thank you for joining in. I will call on you in a little while after this address to make your submission and address to the industry. Ladies and gentlemen, I now invite Mr. S.S. Kim, the chairperson and MD and CEO of Hyundai Motor India, our keynote speaker for the inaugural session. Mr. Kim, thank you so much for your presence. South Korea and India, in fact, have a shared destiny. Both the countries became independent on August 15, albeit South Korea was liberated 2 years ago in 1945. The Hyundai Motor Corporation has played an immense role, an exemplary role in nation building of South Korea. And likewise, the Indian auto component industry aspires to upscale its contribution to India's economy and acquire a dominant position in the global automotive value chain. I invite you, Mr. Kim, to share your vision with us and also your advice for the Indian auto component industry in navigating the challenges of today. Mr. Kim, the screen is yours.
Namaste. A very good morning, Mr. Amitabh Khan, CEO of DTIAGO, President ACMA, President Siam, President CII, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great pleasure to address you all through this virtual platform at the 61st Annual Conference of the Automotive Component Manufacturers Association of India. At the outset, I would like to wish you and your family the best of health and safety during this very challenging time. I would also like to thank you and the entire Automotive Component Manufacturers Association for your valuable contribution and unwavering commitment. With our collective effort, the Indian automotive industry has emerged as one of the most crucial contributors for economic progress. We collectively contribute 6% of India's GDP while providing employment to nearly 38 million Indians. Friends, India has surely and steadily emerged as the land of opportunity, developing into a highly significant regional auto manufacturing and export hub that contribute $27 billion in export revenue. Looking back at some glimpses of our past achievement, we can proudly say that the automotive industry has been truly breathing life into the vision of Make in India, Made for the World. Friends, the COVID-19 pandemic brought unprecedented adversities that result in loss of lives, business, and livelihood. For the first time in the history of the industry, the automotive sector witnessed zero sales in the month of April 2020. Implication of this were felt across the entire spectrum of our value chain. Without doubt, pandemic control measures helped abate a larger crisis, and the industry proactively utilized this opportunity to plan, innovate, strategize, and adapt to the new normal. Our keen observation of the implication of new normal brought significant learnings and need to adapt with flexibility and agility. The importance of an alternate and localized supply chain was clearly evident to help mitigate supply disruption and build great resilience in the ecosystem. Hyundai was the first mass market OEM to begin operation in May 2020, and this was a result of detailed and robust plan encompassing the safety of our employees and suppliers, maintaining operational efficiency, and integrating responsiveness across our value chain. As a result, we have created a more adaptable business structure to be well prepared during any business volatilities. Hyundai has had a long and fruitful partnership with India over the last 2.5 decades, and we have recently accomplished a milestone of 25 years of excellence in India. Over the years, we have developed a robust value chain with the help of our partners, stakeholders, and the government. As a customer-centric organization, it is our constant endeavor to drive excellence across the spectrum of product, service, and technology. Moving forward to further build resilience, we will adopt an Indian-specific operation strategy supporting, first, advancement of IC powertrain technology and strong focus on zero-emission vehicles. Second, focus on mass customization in order to secure adequate economic of scale while addressing diversified needs of evolving and aspirational customers. Third, create market-relevant and human-centric product technology for safe and comfortable vehicle space. Fourth, prepare for uncertainty arising due to the challenging and dynamic market conditions for seamless business operation. Furthermore, for true localization in India, we needed to strongly focus our effort on setting up infrastructure to enhance sub-tier downstream value chain. This strategy will ensure a greater level of competence and stability for the entire industry in India and for our export operation. To create a robust sub-vendor ecosystem, government intervention and support will go a long way in making India a true manufacturing hub. For the future, component manufacturers and OEMs should continue investing in technological advancement with a keen focus on workplace safety, harmonious employee relationship, and government collaboration. The scope to increase car penetration and potential for motorization in India is effectively high. As urbanization continues to grow in India, personal mobility hold high growth potential and business opportunity. While we focus on ramping up operation to facilitate future growth, there is an equal and urgent need to be more responsible toward environment and social issues. As a leading smart mobility solution provider, Hyundai will focus on 4 smart business platforms to enrich customers' mobility life experience and usher in a new era for the automotive industry. We will continue to devote resources for the development of MECA, which is mobility, electric, connected, and autonomous technology. In the mobility sphere, we will focus on further improving quality time of ownership and shared mobility unique experience with innovative features and service solutions for a happy life. Hyundai is also focusing very keenly on developing affordable zero-emission vehicles. Our transition as an alternate energy vehicle manufacturer will be gradual but accelerated in order to facilitate the creation of a resilient value chain and help the industry achieve the ideal volume for economy of scale. We will continue to focus on advanced technologies such as hydrogen fuel cell, while also improving our current portfolio of powertrain that include both BS6 compliant petrol and diesel engine, offering superior fuel efficiency and reduced emission level. As we make our solutions smarter and more efficient, we continue in integrating a higher value quotient in our product offering. By combining connectivity at home, workspace, and commute based on big data analytic platform, we are able to offer a truly lifestyle enhancing solution that add quality time to our customers' life. Under the domain of autonomous driving technology, we will focus on developing state-of-the-art capabilities in the area of advanced information sensing, intelligent and real-time processing with precision assistant control to realize unique solutions for India. Furthermore, with autonomous driving technology, we will enhance on active safety with advanced driving assistance system to mitigate risk involved due to the negligence and or human error, thereby making driving experience safer and enjoyable. Friends, as an industry, there is a strong need to build synergies across the field in order to form a globally competent ecosystem in India. The automotive component manufacturers of India will have to play a pivotal role in shaping the future of this industry with sustained investment in technology, innovation, and R&D. Currently, the automobile sector is undergoing a cascade of changes. We are grateful that the government has undertaken a gamut of initiatives to promote investment and growth in the entire manufacturing value chain in India. The government subsidization program toward augmenting growth of the auto sector and priorities to decarbonize by 2050 with a national hydrogen mission will be instrumental in playing a crucial role toward the scaling of the further of the automobile sector across multiple fronts. As an industry, it is crucial that the component manufacturers and OEMs collaborate to convert this initiative into a successful business avenues. Investment in innovative technology will play a pivotal role in catalyzing future growth and sustainability, thus helping the industry realize the vision of Atma Nirbhar Bharat. This will also help the industry understand the needs and aspirations of the millennial and Generation Z customers, making us well prepared for the future. Friends, the automotive industry is racing toward a new world. The need for localization is immensely significant in today's context, as it will usher in an era of sustainable growth for India and the automotive industry. I thank you all once again for your patient audience and wish you the very best for the future. Dhanyavad.
Thank you, Mr. Kim, for sharing with us your future strategy on MECA, mobility, electric, connected and autonomous. Also, for your focus on localization with stress on infrastructure for upstream and downstream value chain and development of a robust sub-vendor ecosystem. Your call to the component industry for sustained investment in R&D, innovation and technology is indeed very pertinent, and of course we are working on it and we seek your guidance to take it further to fruition. Ladies and gentlemen, I move on to our chief guest, immensely passionate about transforming India and well known for his hugely popular campaigns, God's Own Country, Incredible India, Startup India and Make in India, and our man to go to in times of crisis. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mr. Amitabh Khan, the CEO of Niti Aayog, our chief guest on the occasion. Mr. Khan, please address us.
Mr. Deepak Jain, President of ACMA, Mr. Sanjay Kapoor, Vice President of ACMA, Mr. Kenichi Ayukawa, President Siam, Mr. Narendran, President CII, Mr. S.S. Kim, MD and CEO Hyundai, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to be speaking on the theme of living with volatility, survival, revival, and growth. I'm extremely happy to be with all of you on the 61st ACMA annual session. Let me first say that we are in the midst of a crisis which has been as a consequence of COVID-19. We are now coming out of it, and therefore survival is critical. We will be soon thereafter be confronted by another crisis, and that will be the crisis of climate change. And we have to revive and grow in the midst of both these critical challenges. Let me at the outset say that both these crises can only be confronted by industries and by businesses which go digital, which go lean, and which go green. And this is really the key. I've been a long time admirer of India's automobile industry. It is the pride of India because it is the world's largest two-wheeler, three-wheeler and tractor manufacturer. It is also the world's second largest bus manufacturer, the third largest heavy truck manufacturer, and the fourth largest car manufacturer. It is very critical for India because it accounts for about 7.1% of India's GDP. It accounts for 49% of our manufacturing. So if India has to grow as a manufacturing nation, the automobile sector and the auto component sector have to be the key drivers of India's growth story. The manufacture of transport equipment accounts for about 10 to 12% of the gross value added within India's manufacturing sector. Any hit to the automobile sector has direct impact on the economy. And employment also gets hard hit as the automobile sector provides 37 million direct and indirect jobs while stimulating job creation in other industries. And therefore, we realize the significance and importance of this sector as a very major driver of growth. We have notified the production-linked incentive of rupees 57,042 crores, which is the biggest outlay for 5 years, for automobile and auto components, and incentive of rupees 18,100 crore for 5 years sanctioned for manufacturing of advanced chemistry cells to enhance India's manufacturing capabilities and exports. And our view is that these should really be the key drivers of catalyst of change. Along with that, the government of India has notified the scrappage policy, which would be a game changer in terms of creating demand for newer vehicles. This policy, by way of retiring older vehicles, would boost manufacturing in the automobile sector by generating demand for newer automobiles for the people with a secondary market for the retired vehicles. Now, despite the unprecedented challenge of COVID-19, the Indian automotive industry is spearheading to my mind, at a steadfast recovery rate, and we have been able to overcome some of the challenges. Automotive sales have soared in the month of July 21 by 34% year-on-year basis. Also in the preceding month, two-wheeler sales have increased by 17%, three-wheeler by 22%, passenger vehicles are up by 43% and tractors by 14%. In fact, the sector is expected to account for 65 million new jobs within India by 2026 as companies will ramp up production. A wide array of disruptions such as global supply chain rebalancing, government incentives to increase exports and technology disruptions are creating opportunities at all levels of the automotive value chain, and these must be seen as opportunities. It is very important that industry participants see a clear highway, and it is time for the industry to drive the machine at full throttle. The approach to Make in India is very clear. You have to de-risk supply chains by boosting localization and reduce dependency on imports, and I would like to say imports from China. We must give immediate focus on low-hanging fruits that could be localized in a short period. The localizing of mechanical parts such as forged and machined components and lightweight polymer-based parts is critical. It is also important that certain automotive components which are being imported from China purely on the back of cost competitiveness and development capabilities need to be manufactured here. There are certain parts that are required to meet Bharat Stage 6 emission regulations. We'll need to see increased localization over the next few quarters. Such parts include electronic fuel injection systems and catalytic converters, and these are all being sourced from China. And therefore, it is necessary that import dependency on China for electronics and electrical parts, semiconductor-based components, tooling and molds, and raw materials such as magnets used in electric motors should not merely be minimized but be eliminated. The growth of shared, connected and electric mobility presents a massive opportunity for India in terms of sustainability, job creation, and giving impetus to manufacturing through Make in India. As a key signatory of Paris Climate Agreement, India is committed to reduce emission level by 25% by 2030. Road transport sector is a contributor of CO2 emissions and accords to 1/3 of the particulate matter emissions. The advent of electric vehicles has emerged as a promising and intelligent solutions to achieve these ambitious targets. While the world is well poised to leapfrog to sustainable mobility, the contours of mobility landscape are evolving and will continue to evolve. But one thing is very clear, that the world will move towards a shared, connected, and an electric mobility world. The domestic manufacturers of vehicles must realize that we are in the midst of one of the biggest transition of mobility that is going to take place. The EV will become inevitable, whether you like it or not. And therefore, Indian manufacturers, the domestic manufacturers must clearly read the writing on the wall and must capture this opportunity to lead the disruptive changes and aim to secure a strategic position in the global value chain. It is important for me to say this because the process of India's urbanization has just begun. India will urbanize very rapidly, and in the next 5 decades, you will see over 500 million people getting into the process of urbanization. When Europe and America urbanized, that urbanization was driven by the development of highways and by the creation of combustion engine vehicles. The car manufacturers in USA bought over the railway companies and actually destroyed the railway companies. Vehicle sales soared in USA, and Europe. In USA today, there are 960 cars per 1,000 people, and in Europe, there are about 850 cars per 1,000 people. In India, we have just 21 cars per 1,000 people. And therefore, the transition from combustion to electric will be far more smoother. We will not have legacy issues. And therefore, my view is that this process of urbanization, and let me tell you, the challenge for India is to create one Chicago every 2 years. And therefore, this movement of new urbanization should be accompanied by clean and sustainable urbanization, where electric and shared mobility will be a very critical component. And while the shift from traditional ICE to electric vehicles is inevitable, it is imperative for the nation to indigenize the manufacturing of electric vehicles and its components in alignment with Make in India and promote mass adoption of EV in the domestic market. We should not become a major importing nation in the electric vehicle component like we have done in the case of solar. Number of startups registered in EV segment in the last few years is exponentially growing. And let me tell you, if established players do not move towards electric vehicle, you will see startups disrupting all of you, and they will move forward. And they will capture a very large segment of the market. And therefore, the challenge is for established players to take the lead and become the drivers of this disruption. And improving battery density and reduction in lithium-ion battery costs will steadily boost EV domestic and export market in India. We have separately done a study, and in battery manufacturing, despite the fact that we may not have lithium, nickel, and cobalt, 81% of the value addition can be done in India. And therefore, it's important that we add value to electric vehicle manufacturing in India. Recently, in order to further fuel the demand and catapult the proliferation of EVs in the domestic market, we re-strategized FAME 2 with the objective to reduce the upfront cost of two-wheelers, three-wheelers, and electric buses. The FAME 2 scheme now offers increased upfront incentives for two-wheelers, adopted aggregation model for three-wheelers, and OPEX model and lighthouse cities approach for the electric buses. In our view, for both the two-wheelers and three-wheelers, the initial cost of electric vehicle is now cheaper or almost on par with combustion vehicle. And in the 9 cities that we have selected as lighthouse cities, we'll ensure that 100% saturation of electric buses take place. We will thereafter move towards four-wheelers, and we will ensure that the electric component moves fast and quickly in the four-wheeler segment also. In traditional micro mobility segments, as I said, two-wheelers and three-wheelers, Indian players should be the global leaders from day one. We should capture the global market. For PVs such as cars and SUVs and the light CVs, Indian players can win by following the frugal design requirements essential for emerging markets. Industry disruptions also create a huge opportunity for automotive suppliers to double down on building a strong position in the global EV supply chain. That will help suppliers gain additional revenues, an important consideration since most have started to tap out opportunities in the local Indian market. A move into EV will also help suppliers diversify their portfolios and reduce risks relating to market demand. There is also a dire need for the industry to achieve greater resilience in operations, especially the product, manufacturing, and supply chain dimensions. Operational efficiency must be matched with operational resilience. A McKinsey study has estimated that supply chain disruptions, some lasting over a month, could occur over every 3.7 years across industries. Amid such uncertainties, companies will need operational resilience across the entire value chain, especially within product development, manufacturing, and supply chain. As the manufacturing and supply chain philosophy expands from being just in time to just in case, companies can win by embedding digital and analytics into their operations. In addition to reducing inefficiency, this strategy will help companies build the robustness and resilience needed to respond to unpredictable external challenges. Globally, automakers are moving very fast to incorporate digital and analytics into their daily work. With digital channels gaining popularity among Indian consuming classes, automakers can develop direct-to-consumer options. International markets, especially those in Africa that are similar to India, are experiencing a rise in per capita GDP and reaching the levels at which automotive sales tend to expand very, very significantly. This may be the best opportunity for Indian automotive suppliers to expand internationally in decades because of recent tailwinds. As global automakers rebalance their supply chain, they are looking for sourcing hubs totally outside China. Simultaneously, the Indian government is offering production-linked incentives, and therefore, over the next 5 years, we should encourage exports using domestic market as a base. Automotive suppliers can leverage their strength. At Niti Aayog, we are taking all measures to boost innovation, efficiency, investment in the automobile sector, especially to bring down the initial upfront cost of EVs to the consumers. We have a dedicated national mission on transformative mobility and battery storage that works with all ministries, state governments, industry, and academia on various policy initiatives to support the ecosystem. I'm delighted to tell you that almost 22 states now have their own EV policies, and they are driving it now vigorously. We have worked very closely with them. A transformed mobility future will require participation and collaboration across diverse stakeholder groups, most of whom are already present here today. I congratulate ACMA for their strong representation of 850 key auto component manufacturers and a very unique and a fabulous track record of 60 years of stellar performance. I welcome you for all the suggestions that you keep giving us and in taking forward and helping the automotive component sector. COVID pandemic, as we have seen, has unleashed an unimaginable suffering. It has also given us opportunity to strengthen our supply chains. It has emphasized the need for embedding resilience into our supply chains. We must not lose our focus. The business of automobile components will continue to grow and expand. This will call for higher skill sets as the components will be anchored on new and next generation electronic frame. The quality of automotive components you manufacture has to be world class, zero defect and zero failure. They should require constant short maintenance and replacement time and deliver longer span of durability and service. Let me assure you that the government and all of us in government stand by you, and it is your role to take the industry forward. I'm extremely confident that with your commitment, you'll not only be able to grow and prosper, but also thrive and turn out to be the best in global standards. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Amitabh Khan, for that very incisive address. As always, replete with very strong messages for the industry. Let me assure you that we will live up to your expectations even in an era of next generation mobility. I'm sure the next generation, ACMA is indeed very, very confident that the next generation mobility, unlike the solar sector, would be a success story of localization. Of course, we would look forward to your support as always. Thank you, Mr. Amitabh Khan. Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to the end of our inaugural session. I am indeed very delighted to welcome our Vice President, Mr. Sanjay Kapoor, the Chairperson of Sona Comstar, to propose a vote of thanks to all our dignitaries. Sanjay, the screen is yours.
Mr. Amitabh Khan, CEO, Niti Aayog, Mr. T.V. Narendran, President CII and MD, Tata Steel, Mr. Kenichi Ayukawa, President Siam and MD and CEO, MSIL, Mr. S.S. Kim, MD and CEO, Hyundai Motors India, Mr. Deepak Jain, President ACMA and Chairman Lumax Industries, Mr. Vinny Mehta, Director General ACMA, captains of the vehicle industry, officials from the government, ACMA past presidents and my colleagues from the ACMA Executive Committee and members of ACMA, friends from the press and media, ladies and gentlemen. As we conclude the inaugural session, it is my privilege and pleasure to make a few concluding remarks and propose a vote of thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, the year gone by has definitely been one of the toughest in our history. Apart from the volatility, the downturn that we had been encountering since the onset of FY 2020, the situation was further compounded by the outbreak of COVID-19 and the 2 lockdowns in its aftermath. As they say, that it is in times of crisis that mettle of the brave is tested and their true character is revealed. I'm extremely proud of our industry in the way we have supported each other to overcome the challenges and stand by each other shoulder to shoulder. I'm grateful to our customers for guiding us as well to ensure our business continuity, and to our friends in the auto component fraternity for their resilience and belief in themselves. The government too has played an exemplary role in supporting the industry, and I'm happy that today in almost all segments of the industry we are witnessing recovery, and I hope the good tidings continue. Today's ensuing keynotes by Honorable Minister Mr. Nitin Gadkari and industry luminaries, including Mr. R.C. Bhargava, Dr. Pavan Goenka, Mr. Ashwini Gupta, the presentation by PwC, and the panel discussions with top industry leaders and policymakers shall bring to fore the concrete ideas on how the component industry can navigate the volatile new normal, which in fact is going to be the norm now on, and survive, revive, and grow all simultaneously, thus turning the crisis into an opportunity and transform itself to stay relevant. At the onset, I would like to thank our Ministry of Heavy Industries for its unstinted support. Later in the day, we will have the opportunity to listen to the vision of our Honorable Minister Dr. Mahendranath Pandey and our Secretary Shri Arun Goyalji as they champion our cause with other ministries and departments to make it conducive for all of us to run our businesses. Mr. Amitabh Khan, you have always motivated us and at times also nudged us to think outside of the box. Your invaluable direction to the industry to transform itself from conventional to one that is sustainable and competitive is indeed very pertinent. Our industry needs to transition itself to green measures to meet the climate goals of India. Ayukawa-san, my heartiest congratulations to you for successfully completing the first year of your term as President of Siam, and I wish you the very best for the next year. You've always been in the forefront of extending support to the supply community, and we look forward to your continued direction. Thank you once again for your presence here with us today. Naren, thank you for joining us today. We are very thankful to CII for involving ACMA in its consultative processes. We congratulate you for a very apt theme for this year, Building India for a New World, Competitiveness, Growth, Sustainability, Technology, as India celebrates its 75th year of independence. ACMA is committed to support you as CII rededicates itself to meeting the aspirations of our citizens for a morally, economically, and technologically advanced country in partnership with government, industry, and all stakeholders. Mr. Kim, it has been a pleasure for us to host you today in this session. We appreciate your deep commitment towards building India into an automotive manufacturing hub and for your thrust towards localization. We look forward to Hyundai's deeper engagement with ACMA. ACMA's partnership with government has been intimate, and we are very thankful to all the ministries, departments, and agencies at the center and states for their cooperation. I particularly thank the Ministry of Heavy Industries, Ministry of Road and Transport and Highways, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, the Niti Aayog, and others for their support to us. We're indeed grateful to all our sponsors who have supported this conference. Despite it being a very tough year, this event would not have been possible without your generous contribution. My special thanks to our friends from the media who have always given voice to the auto component industry and supported us. Last but not the least, I would like to thank and compliment the ACMA Secretariat who have worked tirelessly to put this event together. Once again, my sincere thank you to all of you. I wish you a fruitful day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjay. Ladies and gentlemen, We have now come to the close of our session. Do not forget to connect with us on our social media handles on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn to stay updated on the latest on ACMA and the auto component industry. I now take a short break. Thank you so much for tuning in.